Hi, everyone. Welcome to another segment of My Tone, My Voice Kid Konnection Show. My name is Miss Wendy. Hi, hola. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We are so excited at our book today. It is called Islandborn by Junot Diaz. I'm going to put the information right here so you can see what it is. And illustrated by Leo Espinosa. This is a very vibrant and inspiring with books with gorgeous colors and a really good story. And our craft for the day is a science experiment as we grow a rainbow. Because we were so inspired by the gorgeous colors and vibrant colors that are in this book, this week we decided it would fun to grow a rainbow. So I am going to hide myself and we are going to start story time. Give me 1 second here and I'm going to hide myself and I'm going to read the story. And here we go. Islandborn by Junot Diaz, illustrated by Leo Espinosa. Islandborn. Okay, let me pull this up just a little bit so everybody can see the vibrant colors here. I love the colors here. Every kid in Lola's school was from somewhere else. Hers was a school of faraway places. Nia was from a city so big that it was like its own country. India and Camilla were from a stony village at the tippy top of the world. Mateo had lived in a desert so hot, even the cactus fainted. Nu was born in a jungle famous for its tigers and its poets. And Lola was from an island. So when her teacher, Miss Abuela, told her class, please draw a picture of the country you originally are from, your first country, and bring it tomorrow. Everyone got super excited. I'm going to put it in a pyramid, said Dahlia. And I'll draw a canal this long, Franklin said. There's going to be a mongoose in mine, Nelson yelled. Nelson's always yelled. Everyone was talking about their drawings. Everyone but Lola. Lola, you see, loved to draw, but she had left the island when she was just a baby, and she doesn't remember any of it. Lola raised her hand. She hated raising her hand almost as much as she hated Nelson yelling. Miss, what if you don't remember where you're from? What if you left before you could start remembering? No problem, Miss Obase. Are there people around you who do remember? Like my whole neighborhood, Lola said. And they're always talking about the island. Well then, Miss Alvar said, maybe. But Lola finished her sentence. I will talk to everyone who does remember. I will draw from their memories. That's a very good plan, Lola, Miss Alvar said with a smile. Lola started feeling better about the assignment. But then she saw all the other kids chatting excitedly about what they were going to draw, and it made her sad. Everyone was remembering their first home. Even Nelson, who forgot everything. Nelson even forgot his last name once for an hour. Lola had always wanted to remember the island, but no matter how hard she tried, she never could. It was like a familiar word just at the tip of your tongue, But instead of a word, this was an entire world. Lola closed her eyes and tried to recall anything about the island, but nothing came up. She kept trying all through the school day. To help her focus, she put her fingers in the side of her head, like her abuela, psychic, sometimes did. Are you okay? Her cousin Leticia asked as they walked home from school together. I have to draw a picture of the island, Lola explained. But I was just a baby when we left. Prima, you have to help me. I don't remember a lot either, except for the bats. They were as big as a blanket, and they used to chase after me at night. Blanket bats? Lola pulled out her notebook and began to sketch. Look at the blanket bats here. And prima is a word in Spanish that means cousin. Leticia stopped at Mrs. Bernard, who always sold them crispy empanadas after school. Mrs. Bernard, what do you remember about the island? Why, the music, of course. The whole country is like the island of Guerra, like the island of a drum. You mean like our neighborhood? Lola said. The neighborhood had so much music. It was like a radio that dialed a broke that it was like a radio with the dial broken off. On the island, there even more music. There's more music than air, and everyone is always dancing. Even in their sleep, people dance. Sleep dancing? Lola sketched. Leticia led Lola to the barber shop that her brother Jonathan owned. Lola has to do an assignment about the island. She needs to know what you remember about it, most about it. Huepa, said Jonathan, laughing. The agua de coco. How wonderful it tastes when you can drink it right from the coconut. Mr. Rodriguez sat up in the chair. And the mangoes, they are the size of your head and so sweet. They make you want to cry, Lola said. She loves mangoes. That's it, exactly. How much color there is, said the woman waiting with her son. Colorful cars, colorful houses, flowers everywhere. Even the people are like rainbows, every shade ever made. Like us here, said Lola. Even more color, the woman said. Agua, mango heads, rainbow people. Lola was trying to keep up. The island sounds so beautiful. Why did we even leave? Well, it isn't all beautiful, the woman's son said. The heat on you like 5 bullies. The oldest barber muttered, and other things. Like what? Lola wanted to ask, but the oldest barber had already turned away. In the lobby of their building, the cousins ran into Mr. Mir, the superintendent. Leticia called out, Hey, Mr. Mir, can you tell us about what you most remember about the island? Nobody cares about that old stuff, said Mr. Mir, grumbling. Just be glad that you live here. Don't listen to him, Leticia said. Keep going and call me later if you need any help, okay? I will, Lola said. Oops, gotta go back. When Lola got into the elevator, she put her fingers on her temple and closed her eyes. Island, she called, like it was a cat. But like a cat, the island did not come. At home, Lola found her abuela at the kitchen table trying to finish a puzzle. Abuela loved puzzles. Abuela, I'm supposed to draw a picture of the island for school, but I don't remember it. Why don't I remember it? Hija, you were just a baby when you left. But the other kids remember. Just because you don't remember a place doesn't mean it's not in you. Well, you will tell me what you remember most, Lola asked. And the word abuela means grandmother. Can you say abuela? Of course, what I remember most is the beaches, hija. Our beaches are poetry. You know, when you hear your favorite poem, that's how it, it is to be on our beaches. Fishes jump from the waves into your lap, and the sunsets sometimes. The dolphins will come out of the water to bow good night. And up north, where I'm from, there are even whales in the surf. Beach poetry, dolphin surfing, whales. Lola sketched as fast as she could. Lola's mother stuck her head in from the kitchen. Hija, what I remember most is the hurricane that hit the island right after you were born, like the biggest, baddest wolf of all. It huffed and puffed and blew thousands of houses into the sky. Where were we? Lola asked. Her eyes got wide. We were hiding under the bed is where we were, Abuela said. That's right, her mother said. And you know what? You never cried once. You were such a brave little girl. I wish I could remember that, Lola sighed. Well, it happened, her mother said. You might not remember the island, but it remembers you. You really should talk to Mr. Mir, Abuela suggested. He knows more about the island than almost anybody. Well, we tried asking him, Lola said, but he didn't want to help. Mr. Mir can be a little grouchy sometimes. Let me talk to Mrs. Mir. I bet you can get him to help. Abuela called downstairs and shouted to Miss Mir, who then shouted at Mr. Mir. The old people were always shouting at each other. That's how they talk. Maybe Nelson was an old person in training. Go down, Abuela said. Mr. Mir said he would try to help. Lola was a little nervous, but that didn't stop her from knocking on the soup's door. Mrs. Mir, let her in. Look how big you've gotten, Lola. Mr. Mir is in the workshop. Go right on in. Mr. Mir looked up from the contraption he was fixing. Your grandma says you've been interviewing people about the island. What have they told you? She flipped through her sketches. Fat blankets, more music than air, fruit that makes you cry, beach poems, and a hurricane like a wolf. I see, Mr. Mir said. So no one told you about the monster? Lola's eyes got wide. She shook her head. No. Even those who know don't always want to talk about him. Mr. Mir turned towards the old worn map he had of the island. Our island has always been a beautiful place. It was when I was your age, and it is today. But even the most beautiful places can attract a monster. A long time ago, long before you were born, that's exactly what happened. A monster fell upon our poor island. For once, Lola's pencil didn't move. It was the most dreadful monster anyone had ever seen. The whole island was terrified, and no one could defeat it. It was just too strong. For 30 years, the monster did as it pleased. It could destroy an entire town with words and make a whole family disappear simply by looking at it. Lola's curly hair was uncurled with fear. Did you see the monster, Mr. Mir? Yes, all the time. We Were you scared? We were all very scared. That's the monster. Lola's heart was pounding. So what happened next, Mr. Mir? What should always happen to monsters, heroes rose up, strong, smart young women just like you, Lola, and a few strong, smart young men, too. They got tired of being afraid and fought the monster. What a titanic battle that was. The whole island shook from the struggle. The monster tried all of its evil tricks, but in the end the heroes found the monster's weakness and banished it forever. Whew, Lola whispered. What happened to the heroes? No one knows really. It was so long ago. Mr. Mir took off his glasses and sighed. Anyways, you should go get back upstairs. It's getting close to dinner time. Thank you, Mr. Mir, Lola said. Thank you for all your help. How did it go? Lola's mother asked. It was really good. Lola looked at the blank page in her hand. Lola spent the rest of the night drawing the island. She started out with one page, but she needed more room. So she added another page and then another page, and soon she had a book. She worked through the dinner, and she worked in bed, and she was just finishing the last touches on the cover when her abuela came in to check on her. Abuela picking up a drawing of the final battle, and she got really still. Abuela, did you know about the monster? Of course, hija. What did you think so many of us are here in the north? Lola put her arms around her abuela. You must have been so scared. Sometimes we were, her abuela whispered. But we were also brave. The next day it snowed. Lola put on her scarf and boots and stuffed her assignment under her coat. Veneración, mami. Veneración, abuela. Veneración, hija, they both called. Good luck. Mr. Mir was pushing garbage cans against the curb. Thank you, Mr. Mir, slayer of monsters, he laughed. Good luck, Lola, daughter of heroes. And bendición is blessings in Spanish. Can you say bendición? In class, all the students were buzzing about their pictures. Nelson's mother had baked cupcakes for everyone, so it was like a little party. Miss Ami hung the drawings on the wall. Now our classroom has windows, she said. Anytime you want to look at one another's first homes, all you have to do is look out the windows. Then Miss Ami reached Lola's desk. So, How did it go, Lola? Were you able to remember anything? I tried really, really hard, but nothing came, and that made me feel sad. But then I realized that I don't have to feel bad because even if I never set foot on the island, it doesn't matter. The island is me. Nelson snorted. That is corny. It is not. Nelson, be nice, Miss Alba say. She said the other students gathered around Lola's desk. Nelson made sure he got really close so he could see everything. Lola suddenly got nervous. Go ahead, Lola. Show us. Okay, Lola said, taking a deep breath. She opens her book, and out bursts the island. Look how beautiful that is. Her book came to life, and the island, this is her whole island. You see the whales, the blanket bats, the dolphins, the people, the monster. Look how beautiful that is. How very colorful. And that ends our story time of Islandborn by Junot Diaz. And I love the back of the book. It says, memory is magic. Isn't that great? I love this book. I think this is another favorite book of mine. Okay, I'm back. Hi, everyone. Hola. Okay, now we're going to start our craft of the day, and it's going to be a science experiment, and we are going to grow, oops, I have it over here, a rainbow. And you're probably looking at this like, how is this a rainbow? Well, I'm going to show you how that is. And it's just a couple of things that you need from your own home. Okay, I'm going to move the camera down so I can tell you the supplies we need. But the first thing we need to tell you first is if you have an adult in your house, please make sure they're with you so that they can show you how to do the next experiment. And make sure you're wearing something that can cover your clothes because we are going to use some water, some watercolors. So I'm going to put my favorite little smock so I don't get what I call my island shirt wet or dirty. And we don't want to do that. So I'm going to put that on. So I hope all of you will do the same. I'm going to change my mic so you don't hear it crumple everywhere. Okay. Now I'm ready because I cover my clothes so I don't get dirty and I don't ruin my clothes. So make sure that you find an old t-shirt or if you have what we call a smock to put on before you do this next, what we call science experiment for our craft today. Okay, moving the camera down. Okay, so what you're going to need, now these markers I have, these are called washable markers. You want to use these because regular markers are not going to work for this experiment. So make sure you have washable markers. And the colors you're going to need, and we're thinking about the colors of the rainbow. Because remember, we were so inspired by the gorgeous colors and vibrant life described in this beautiful book we just read, Islandborn. This is the reason why we're doing our science experiment. So the colors of the rainbows, you want red, purple, orange, blue, green, and yellow. So make sure you have, these are Crayolas, they're washable markers. So make sure you have washable markers. Oh, and one little tip. Make sure you have something, either a plastic tablecloth or a mat that you can put on your table because you want to do this for this experiment. So make sure you have this as well. So those are the washable markers. You're going to need a ruler, scissors, a piece of paper towel, and I would say some wipies. And I'll tell you why you're going to need some wipies. That's just to keep our stuff clean. And then you're going to need 2 cups. You want to get a tall cup. It can be plastic or glass or a glass cup. Mine sits about this tall. I'm going to move this up a little. And I'm going to turn this on so you can see better. So you want a medium size, not a really large glass or cup, but just a medium size. So don't get the short ones, get the what I call medium size, okay? And you want 2 of these. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to move my stuff. Move it to the side. Move this. And here. Now, my mat has a little bit of a ruler. Now, you want to, now I have the what we call cutout paper towel. So we're going to cut this in half. I'm not cut it in half, fold it in half. Make sure it's even. And we're going to measure, and this is the reason why I was telling you to bring your ruler. So we're going to learn about shapes and colors, and we're going to learn a lot of stuff today. So on mine, it says you want to do it at 7 inches. So here I have 7, and if you have your ruler, which we have here, you can do the same with your ruler. Measure the 7 inches. Make sure the length, how long it is 7 inches. So I'm going to use, here I got it on my line, and I have 7 here, so I'm using my marker to mark where I need to cut it because I want to make it 7 inches. And I'm just going to do a little dot. This is where our scissors come in. Okay. And then you're going to cut it, and then you're going to do it so you can cut it to 7 inches. And I'll explain why you want to have this 7 inches. Okay, let me cut this over here. Let me move my ruler. And here is my paper towel. Remember, your paper towel has to be folded in half. Make sure it stays that way. Now, this is where the fun happens. Now, remember I told you to have something on your table because we're going to color. And this is, we're going to bring our ruler back in. And we want to do, and I'll tell you why you're going to use your ruler. What we want to do is to do all the colors of the rainbow on here, we need to measure it to 1 inch apart so that we can get all of our colors on each end of the paper towel. So you're going to do, I'm going to measure it. Hold on. I have my computer right here, so it's kind of hard for me to go in and measure. So I can move it around. You can't see where my measurement, but make sure you measure 1 inch apart. And I'm going to put a dot where I need to color. And I'm going to use the dot of each color that I'm doing. So that was my purple. I'm going to get my blue, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to measure 1 inch. Put a dot where it needs to be. The next color I'm getting is my green. And I'm going to do a dot so I know that that's where 1 inch. And the next color I'm going to get is orange. And the next color is red. And then we don't need the end one, which I'll use yellow. Okay. So now that you've marked your spots, this is where you're going to use your ruler, and I'll show you why. Because your ruler, and I'm kind of showing you here, there's a line right here so you can kind of get an idea, is I want to have my line, my ruler here, because we're only going to color tap right here. We're not going to color all the way through. So you're going to color this. Do your line of your purple. And I'm doing a rectangle. So remember I was telling you you're going to learn shapes and different things. So I did a rectangle and I'm going to do purple. And I'm going to color the purple. And I want you to color as much to get it really cover everything as dark as you can. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a rectangle on the other side of the end of here. And don't worry if you have something underneath, don't worry if you get, these are washable markers. You can clean the bottom of your, and I'm coloring in the color and I want to get it all saturated, meaning I want to get it as wet and color in all the color of the purple on here. Because the reason why I'm saying this is because remember we folded the paper towel, we want it to soak through. And I'll tell you what a tip to do if it doesn't soak through. Okay, so the next color we're going to do is blue. And you're going to keep doing this all the way down until all your colors are filled in. See how I got a little smudge there? Don't worry about it. As long as you have something underneath, you should be fine. This is where I was saying an adult supervision does help. So you're going to do the same thing you did with the purple. You're going to do your rectangle, and then you're going to color in all the white to cover it all with blue. Try not to get in the line of the purple because sometimes the colors mix, and you know what happens when you mix color, it creates another color. And we're going to do the same thing here. I use what I stopped here to make my rectangle. And I'm going to keep going until I cover all the white with my blue. And I'm going to keep going until I cover all, like I was mentioning, everything blue on this side. Try not to touch the purple. And if you need help from somebody in your adult in your house, your mom, your dad, your tío, your abuela, aunt, uncle, or your grandmother, ask for help. And you're going to keep going until all your colors are filled in. So that was our blue. We're going to use green, and we're going to keep going until we fill both sides of our paper towel, the colors of the rainbow. So this was green. I'm going to go color in my green. And you want to go like as dark as you can, okay? Make sure you color in all the dark colors. I'm doing green, so I'll make sure I'm covering here. And I'm going to do the same thing here. And don't worry about if it comes like this. You're okay, as long as you don't go past that. So you're going to keep going until you cover. And this is the reason why I said the ruler helps, because it keeps a straight line. It keeps you where you can color in. If you need help, make sure you ask the adult in your family. Or you can do this in class. This would be a great project to do for class. And then you can talk about the book, about Lola. And so there you go on the green, and then we're going to go to the other color and move, and we're going to do orange. And you're going to keep going until we get all of the rainbow colors. Color it in as much as you can. And make it as dark as you can. You want to get it really saturated, meaning you want the colors to go all the way through to the other side. Okay? I'm going to keep going. And I'll show you a trick to make sure that the colors are, oops, I think I almost got the green. I have to stay in my little lines. Okay, that was orange. I think the next color I'm going to do is yellow. I'm going to make this a little thin because I think I ran out of room, but that's okay if we did, okay? I made my rectangle a little bit thinner. And oops, gotta make sure it holds in place. That's why I like the ruler. It holds your napkin while you're drawing because it can move, but it's okay if it moves. It's a rainbow. Making sure there. And then now the last color is red. So I'm going to color my red in. Remember I was telling you having something underneath because I got all this stuff, but these are washable markers. Don't use any regular markers or let me move this way so you can see me draw. You want to use washable marker because this is the only way this experiment is going to work with a washable marker. And I'll explain to you why that is, okay? Remember I was saying to color, see how it's still kind of white? I want to get as much color in there. Okay, now, remember I was telling you to draw all the way through so that it soaks to the second one? We're going to open it. Now you see how these are not all colored in. What I want you to do is go back in, got my fan going, and color that white in on the other side, okay? Because it's very important that both sides are saturated by the color, and I'll explain to you later what that means. So that's why I'm going in and I'm coloring the inside of our folded paper towel that we did, okay? And I'm coloring as much as I can with all the color that I have for each part. And the next one is blue, and it's the same. I'm going to move my... Because see, it didn't go all the way through the color, so I want to make sure the color is on both sides, okay? So you see it's still white. Go ahead and get your marker and color the inside of your paper towel. Make sure that it's colored by each color of our rainbow that we're using, okay? That's blue. Now we're getting green, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to color in all that white that didn't go through. So I was saying, if yours went through, then hey, you did a great job. You don't have to do this part. But mine, I didn't do it all the way through, so I got to make sure that I color it in so that the green will show when we do our experiment, okay? And this is actually fun because you're learning about a triangle. Now the next one is my orange, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do some of my green got in my orange. I'm not going to touch that. I'm just filling in the white parts. I won't touch the ones that where the green is, but it's okay if it does. Now I'm going to get my yellow. I'm going to do my yellow. I'm going to fill in my yellow. Try not to touch. Yellow was a little bit skinnier. I measured wrong, but that's okay. Okay, that's yellow. And then the last color is red. And we're coloring the last piece, which is red. Trying to get all that white out and put it in with color. And yes, I'm marking on my bottom part, but because this is washable. Okay, now we're done. I'm going to move my markers. I'm going to fold this back. Oops. It was this way, sorry. And now your paper towel should look like this. It's okay if you have white. Okay, now you see my mess. Now I want you to grab your 2 cups of water. Now what I did is I filled them to almost to the top, but not quite. So you're going to have to judge it. I tried to put it as close. Now, this is what I want you to do. And I'm going to lift, trying to lift so you kind of see. You're going to take this end, the left side of your color paper towel, and your right side of your color paper towel, and you're going to dip it in here. Not all the way through. You're just going to do the ends where the colors. Now, this experiment takes about maybe 10 minutes to 15 minutes. Let the colors touch the water. And you see the colors are changing the water. Now watch what it does on top. It's going to like, you see how the paper towel, I'm going to move it this way. See how the water is making the colors go up. Make it a little bit. And if you give it time, this will go all the way through. And so this science behind it, okay, this science experiment is a great example of what we call chromatography. Chromatography is a way of separating out the mixtures of the chemicals. So what does that mean? The capillary actions that makes the marker dye move up, upward through the paper towel, lifting the washable dye molecules with it. Because the washable molecule markers, or the washable markers, they are water-based. They disperse in the water. So you see how it's growing? Look, the colors are going more and more. You got purple going on purple, blue and going blue. You got your green, your orange, your yellow. It's okay if it bleeds, but you're getting the idea. Then my water actually turned a dark color. But this experiment takes about 10 to 15 minutes. Let it go through. As you can see how it's growing. This is your rainbow. And it's growing to the other side to touch to the other color. See? Now you're not going to see any more white. And there you grow your rainbow. And while we're doing this and waiting for this to done, another great thing you can do is write a letter to Lola. Let's pretend and write a letter telling her about where you're from. Make sure to include important details like she did, like what you see, hear, taste, smell, and touch in your community where you were born. And you can put your name on it and put Dear Lola. And just put about where you're from. Now you see how it's complete. Our rainbow grew from one side to the other. And there you have it. You grew a rainbow today. I'm going to move this back. Okay. And this is what it looks like when it's done. It actually looks like this is one side of it. I cut it in half so you can kind of see what it looks like. But yes, that is your science project of growing a rainbow. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed our book of the day, which is Islandborn, written by Junot Diaz and illustrated by Espinosa. And as well as making our craft of the day, which is our science experience of growing a rainbow. And once you're done, put it on a paper towel so that it will dry and it'll look like this, and you can go back and show your rainbow. I'm going to move this really quick down my camera. I'm going to move my experiment over here. And remember I was telling you those white beads come in place and having this underneath? This is where your white beads can come in. Yes, I'm going to show you how to clean up after your experiment. And remember, this is washable stuff and it disappears. This is the reason why I like washable markers. It doesn't get all over the place. So make sure you clean up. You found it like the way it was, as I always say. There you go. Ooh, look at all the colors. And make sure you help clean up after your experiment, because a scientist always prepares for his or her science project and cleans up after. I hope everybody has enjoyed another episode of Kid Connection and our story time, as well as our craft time. Catch us next week for another great story time, and I hope everybody has enjoyed going back to school and take this experiment to your teacher and see if y'all can do this in class, or even do this at home with your friends or your family members. Everybody, thank you for joining me, and I'm so excited doing my little rainbow, and I hope you did too. Gracias. And I hope you learned some new words in Spanish today. Everybody stay tuned for Kid Connection next week. I will see y'all at the same time next week. Have a great day. Bye. Adios. Hasta luego.